For decades, the world has watched China's economic engine with a mix of awe and anxiety. An engine that ran on one thing above all else, debt-fueled construction, ghost cities, soaring apartment towers, and endless highways, all built on a mountain of credit. That engine has now stalled. The headlines are everywhere: a deepening real estate crisis, a sputtering growth model, and a hidden debt bomb ticking away inside local governments. This isn't just China's problem. The sheer scale of it threatens to trigger a global financial crisis, dragging everyone down. The world has been bracing for a collapse. But what if Beijing has no intention of saving the old model? What if, behind the scenes, they've been quietly orchestrating one of the most audacious economic shifts in modern history? This is the story of three major strategies, each with a price tag in the trillions, that are converging into a national pivot. A plan to move past China's old economy and fundamentally reshape its position in the world. Section 1. The first strategy, taming the $8 trillion debt bomb. The first strategy begins with confronting the monster in the room, China's hidden debt bomb. Unlike in most countries where the national government holds the debt, in China, a huge portion of the burden falls on local governments. For years, they funded ambitious projects through off-balance sheet entities called Local Government Financing Vehicles, or LGFVs. As the property market cratered, the music stopped. By the end of 2023, the International Monetary Fund estimated this hidden local government debt had swelled to a staggering 60 trillion yuan, roughly $8.3 trillion. This isn't just an accounting problem, it's a systemic threat. Local governments began struggling to pay their bills, starving small businesses of cash, cutting public services, and risking a cascade of defaults that could trigger a banking crisis. But Beijing's response isn't a simple bailout. It's more like a controlled demolition. Instead of just printing money, the central government is executing a massive debt restructuring. In late 2024, it announced a 10 trillion yuan debt resolution plan. The strategy is to systematically dismantle the riskiest LGFVs and swap their hidden high-interest debt for transparent, lower-interest government bonds. This moves the debt onto the official books where it can be managed and controlled. It's financial surgery on a national scale. And we are already seeing this plan in motion. According to a government report in March 2026, the number of these LGFVs had been slashed by over 82%, with their operational financial debt cut by more than 74%. They aren't erasing the debt, they are transforming it, taming the bomb so it can be diffused. But restructuring debt doesn't create new growth, it just clears the rubble. So where will China's next economic engine come from? Section 2. The second strategy, the Green Revolution. The answer to that question is the second major strategy, the largest green energy push the world has ever seen. While the West has been focused on China's real estate crisis, Beijing has been pouring capital into what it calls the new three industries: electric vehicles, solar panels, and batteries. This isn't just about being eco-friendly, it's a calculated industrial strategy. In 2025 alone, China's investment in clean energy reached a staggering $1 trillion, roughly 4 times what is spent on fossil fuels. This pivot serves multiple purposes. First, it creates a new engine for the economy. In 2025, clean energy sectors contributed 11.4% to China's total GDP and were responsible for over a third of its economic growth. That same year, the broader Three New Economy, which includes new industries and business models, accounted for 18.01% of GDP. Second, it allows China to build on its dominance in the industries of the future. China's efforts are a strategic move to secure a leading position in high-tech manufacturing and reduce its own dependence on imported fossil fuels. This isn't just theory. Across the country, programs are turning cities into living laboratories for this new model. This national strategy is being translated into real-world projects, demonstrating a tangible shift away from the old economic drivers. So, China is diffusing its debt bomb and building a new green economy. But there's a third, final piece to this puzzle. How is this entire transition being financed and protected? Before we get into that third and final strategy, the one that explains how all of this is connected to the global financial system, if you regain value from this deep dive, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. We release analysis like this every week to help you make sense of the rapidly changing global economy. Section 3. The third strategy, the financial insulation. The third strategy is perhaps the most ambitious. To fund this massive transition and insulate itself from external economic pressure, China has been actively promoting the use of its own currency, the yuan. This financial shift is happening on a few key fronts. First, by creating new financial hubs and systems. Instead of relying solely on traditional financial centers, Chinese firms are being guided towards friendly shores in places like Hong Kong, which remains the world's largest offshore RMB hub. Second is the internationalization of the yuan. Now, let's be clear. The idea that the yuan has surpassed the dollar globally is a myth. The US dollar still dominates, but the trend for China's own trade is undeniable. Back in 2010, less than 1% of China's cross-border transactions was settled in its own currency. By March 2024, that number had surged, with the yuan accounting for over 50% of China's non-banking cross-border payments. This is being supercharged by new technology. Projects like mBridge, a multi-country digital currency platform, allow for cross-border payments that can bypass traditional systems. By early 2026, transaction volumes on the platform had surged past $55 billion, building a viable alternative for international settlement. This isn't just about efficiency, it's a geopolitical move. It reduces China's vulnerability to foreign sanctions and simultaneously chips away at the advantages the United States enjoys from having the world's primary reserve currency. So, what happens when you put all three pieces together? This isn't three separate stories, it's one interconnected national strategy. China is executing a controlled demolition of its old, debt-fueled property economy. That's the first part. It's using the space cleared by that demolition to build a new, state-led green industrial machine. That's the second part. And it's protecting this entire project by building out a financial system that is less dependent on the US dollar. That is the third and final part. The era of China as the world's low-cost factory, fueling its rise with ghost cities and endless debt, is over. A new model is emerging, one that aims to be greener, more technologically advanced, and more financially independent. The world was watching for a Chinese collapse. Instead, Beijing is attempting a total reinvention. This massive economic shift has in fact changed everything. The final question remains, will this ambitious strategy pay off? Let me know what you think in the comments below.